As busy as we are in the summertime, wintertime chores are just so much harder. It got down to like 14 degrees last night. We've got, I don't know, a couple inches of snow on the ground. It just makes your traction more difficult. Everything's froze up. It just makes everything more difficult to get things done in the wintertime. And technically it's still fall for another couple weeks, but winter has arrived in West Virginia. And it's just tough. It's just tough to get stuff done. You know, you think you're working hard all summer, and you are, but the wintertime work is just so much more difficult. Talking about how difficult things are in the winter, I thought I didn't see my calves appropriately, and all my cows are out there. So that's going to be a problem. Where'd they get out from? And they have hay. They have hay, and there's no green grass anywhere. Now they have a whole bale of hay rolled out through that field, and they're just being problematic about it. So this is going to be a chore. And one thing you don't want to do is make extra trips. I talk about it all the time, but especially when you've got all this snow to wade through. I'm not wading on it too much here. It's up over my ankles. It does create a drag when you're walking, and you have these drifts. Sometimes you either got to walk way around, or it's real deep. But anyway, who knows why they chose this course, and where did they get out from? That's the second object. Lucy, here. Don't even test me. You guys have been out eating hay all night. Gosh. Stay, Lou. I don't know if her calf's just sitting sideways or if she's got a hurt foot. I can't even tell where they got out from. And then no tracks down there, so it must have snowed and blowed your path back shut wherever you came from. Get on. Get on. Get on. You calves and Bia, you guys are the bad news bears. No idea where they even came from. And that's only half of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the 4 calves. Now, will they turn around or will they follow me through? That's the question. That's the question. You can't go over that. Don't do that. Bia. Why? What's the need of that? I guess my lesson was I didn't have the electric on. I just had the field fence. Well, they have a couple places where the electric's on, but I just had the field fence thinking that that'd be enough. But it wasn't. So they're going to have to get some juice to keep them honest. You talk about difficulties. You got to not create difficulties for yourself. A little busted up persuasion gate. They don't care about that. All right, punchies. I know, piggies. I'm going to get to you soon. This didn't happen just the way I thought it was going to. It's too cold for this nonsense. And I can't breathe enough to be chasing you around like this. All right, go. You know, you see your others, but you can't get there from here. Go on. You are stubborn as ever, Maybelline. Get to moving. There you go, right through an open gate. Like they've been doing that all their lives. And the calves, not so much. So we gotta go round them up. Look, the big cow's left, you guys. Go on. Get. Oh. You scraggly little sucker, you. Get to moving. There you go. 26's calf. She'll show you the way. Go on. Get on. There you go. Well, it wasn't as bad as I let on. They went in pretty easy. I probably cried a little bit too much about having to wait in the snow, and I didn't have to go through any big snow drifts. But it still wasn't on my agenda for today. So it's going to cost me an extra trip trying to preserve my energy as much as I can. Should have put my wind muffle on my mic. Probably be all crazy sounding. You know, not to be too much of a curmudgeon, but Christmas is a commercial holiday. I mean, it used to be Black Friday kicked everything off, and you know, probably thankfully we've moved away from all of the nonsense of Black Friday when people used to run each other over and people got killed just trying to get a toy and all those things. But now the sales start before Thanksgiving, and you have, you know, your Black Friday sales are actually a week or two long, and you have your Cyber Monday, and everybody shops online nowadays, but Cyber Monday still is a significant day for all those online retailers. So it's really a commercial holiday. I mean, you're going to have problems anyway, especially like if you had machines. I don't have any machines, so you're going to have problems with that. You're going to have breakdowns and stuff like that. I could have prevented this. I still haven't sorted out exactly where they got out from because the blowing snow covered all their tracks, but they've been out for a minute. I just can't see where they come from, and only half of them got out. Those calves and Bia and number 9, kind of the problems. I suspect they probably knocked the fence down out there. So if it thaws, I need to come through here and put some stakes in the ground and put some juice on it so that they can get a little attitude adjustment. Maybe hook the heavy charger, the one with a lot of joules. It's got like 6 joules compared to the one that's got like 2. The cows, the adult cows should know. Those calves, they're bad news. They haven't learned their lesson yet, so we got to do some adjusting on them. You can choose how much to participate in the hustle and bustle of the Christmas rush. You don't have to just blindly go along because that's what everybody else does. But see, we get stuck in those treadmills where we just can't get off of them. Once you get on the treadmill of this is how things are done and this is the way things are now, to break that trend is difficult. It goes against what our family says. It goes against societal trends. There's a lot involved in trying to go against the grain. And that's really what we're calling you to now is if you don't like that, if you don't like the commercialism, if you don't like that hustle and bustle, you've got to do something else. You don't have to participate in it. You can do something different. I'm not saying don't buy gifts. I'm not saying don't observe the regular, Christmas holiday traditions of the secular world. I mean, some of those things are okay. It's good to go to dinner, all the dinners with our family. Maybe you got to discipline that out a little bit so you don't sacrifice your own, the wind's blowing a little bit, bouncing you around. So you don't sacrifice the sanctity of your own home. You can't go to every relative's house and still maintain a decent Christmas at your house. So you got to weigh those things out. Our family has decided to kind of celebrate old Christmas together. And we do that in kind of a disconnected way. We draw names at Thanksgiving and we make handmade gifts for one another. And there's a lot of fun that goes into that. We try to form alliances to see who's got what name and to see who can help who. And there's a lot that goes into that. And we just have a good time. And we have we change it up a little bit because not everybody likes it. But our base is like a shrimp scampi, but Melissa might make, a number of different dishes and something that's a little non-traditional, something that sets it apart for us. But we celebrate old Christmas and we try not to, spend a lot of money in building these gifts. It might just be a block of wood that you found out back and you just done something to remind you of that other person that you're going to give it to. We have a good time with that. And we try not to pressure our kids into coming home at Christmas time. And that's not easy because we want to spend Christmas Day with them, but they have kids and they have families of their own. And I advise other families to let loose a little bit. They've got their own kids, they've got their own families, so they probably need to spend Christmas Day with their kids, with their family. And so we don't pressure our kids to do that, and we kind of loosen the reins a little bit and to break ourselves of the commercialization and the secular trend. We do plenty of that. We do plenty of that the rest of the year, and we do plenty of that around Christmas. But at least we have this old Christmas that isn't based on money. It's based on giving. It's based on contributing from your own talent and your own experience and your own love of the other individual and of the family. And that's our favorite, probably one of our favorite, if not the favorite, holiday of the year. So you have to decide, you have to make the decision what level you're going to participate in. And if you want to do something different, just do it. Who's stopping you? Create another day. Now, we're not doing things exactly the way I would like to. We're not, I mean, we're on a small acreage. We only have about 7 acres available to pasture. We only have 8 acres total. I mean, I could squeeze some more out of it, but we're not really set up, and we didn't get our hay bales scattered out. I should have done it. See, I lulled myself to sleep thinking that there'd be time, and sometimes there isn't time. Sometimes you just better get stuff in position around here, because you never know when winter's going to hit you and hit you hard. But we've had some easy winters the last few years, so I lulled myself to sleep and I didn't scatter my hay out. So now up there where the cows got out earlier, it's kind of buried in the snow. I have to wait for that to thaw or dig my way into it. I had this one in position to roll out, and we wanted to do some bale grazing, and I wanted to scatter them out all across, you know, especially back there where the pigs are. The pigs are still here, but this bottom field where the pigs were earlier, I wanted to have some hay ready for them to graze in those areas, but I just didn't get myself positioned, and I'm suffering a little bit of consequences. Now, what I do think will happen, what I know will happen, is where we're rolling this hay out, this is going to be super rich and green here coming the spring. So we'll take a look at that in a few months to see what benefit I had from rolling this hay out and letting these cows eat it this way, and returning some of that biological matter and seed and so on back to the ground, and all their you know, poop and pee is gonna be in those areas. And I just think that, you know, this field's gonna benefit from that. We still have time, and hopefully we don't get one of those, you know, 2009, 2010 snows where it's, you know, 5-6 feet deep all winter. But hopefully I can get some hay out there and roll some across those areas out there, and do some good there also. And after the pigs are gone at the end of January, unfortunately, then we can go out into that field and do some, hopefully some bale grazing out there. Problem is, I don't have a tractor. So either got to move them with my truck or get someone in here to help me out with a tractor. Looks like the crows are out there enjoying my pig buffet. They must be picking up the leftovers. If you don't like the commercialization of Christmas, if you don't like how it is observed today, well, do something different. You know, it doesn't do us any good to sit around and moan and complain and nag about the situation if we're just going to continue to participate in it. We have to do something different. The world's just going to keep chugging along. You have to be counter to the world. You have to be opposed to it. I'm not telling you to be a rebel per se, but as a Christian, you don't belong here. So you shouldn't behave like you just fit right along. So if you don't like the way that the world has decided to observe Christmas, then you have to do something different. You have to stand against it. Do you have the energy for that? Do you have the desire for that? We do. We want to build up our family. We want to create new traditions. We want to plant a seed inside of our grandkids and our children, that we shouldn't just go along with what the world says. We should stand against it a little bit. We should stand aside from it a little bit and observe it and say, I think I'm going to do something different than that. Obviously, you got to judge the circumstances. If they tell you not to stick your hand in fire, don't stick your hand in fire. But if it's Christmas and you don't like the way the commercialization is, you have to stand against it. You have to go a different direction. That's on you, because it's not going to slow down for you. Hey, little CG, come and get a drink of water. I need to fill that up today. See how much you girls is using. I guess there's a couple little guys in there too, but mostly girls. Water is probably the hardest thing to manage this time of year if it gets cold. I mean, we don't have any running water here, So we have to depend on the well, and then we have to be in a position to where we can run an extension cord at the least to provide the heater to thaw the water. And unfortunately, those places are not always where, and maybe I need to remedy that. Maybe I need to run an electric outlet to where a frost proof is, so that I can manage that a little better. But currently I don't have that ability. So I've got to run an extension cord, and there may or may not be water in that place. So there's a few pieces to the puzzle there. I'm not sure if we got to talk about Hurricane Helene all the way up here in West Virginia. We got a little damage from her too. She blew all the plastic off that high tunnel. Not that we were using it for high tunnel purposes. You can see all the stuff in there. I may have talked about this before, but I can't remember. But all the way up here, Hurricane Helene, the wind got us. We got some of the rain, not much, not as much as we needed out of the rain at that time, as we had a pretty good drought until we got a little bit of rain. Now we got all this white stuff on the ground. I'm not really sure if that's going to help the drought condition all that much until she melts away. But Hurricane Helene knocked the plastic off that high tunnel. I'm going to try to tear it down and take it out back. If you want to have a Merry Christmas, I think you have to return to putting Christ first, worshiping Him first, celebrating Him first, celebrating His birth, and celebrating the anticipation of His promised return. All that stuff has to come first, and then everything else is just an added blessing. I think that goes along with some of my contentment studies and the sermon we did on contentment, but He has to be first. He has to be the focus of our attention, and He will be satisfying. And then we won't feel so dissatisfied, so pressured, so anxious about everything else, because then if He's first and we have Him as the greatest gift of all, then we won't be so worried about, did I get to spend this kind of time? Did I get this gift? Did they like this gift? And all the pressures that come along with that, and all the hustle and the bustle and all those things. Let's put Christ first. Let's put the Christ back in Christmas. Let's remember that He's the reason for the season, and find that joy there first. And then maybe we won't be one of those 38% of people who have that heightened anxiety during this time. Did you have the slightest concern about where I might have been?
I was wondering where you went. Started out with the dogs
and then I never came home.
And then Lucy came back.
Well, she didn't come back for a long time.
Where were you at?
The cows was out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, in my mind, I'm like, he has his phone, so if he needs me.
Yeah, I would have. But you didn't call me to find out if I fell in the snowdrift or aliens abducted me or nothing.
Well, to be fair, like, I figured you were videoing, and I didn't want to mess with the video.
I'm not so sure about that. Anyway, I still got a lot of work to do, and I already done a lot of work. That's too exhausting.
Where were they at?
How about them buckwheat cakes? I don't know.
Lunchtime.
Is it lunchtime now? I've been piddling around all day. They were just out. Yeah. You woke me up plenty early enough. It's pretty dark and it was only 14 degrees. They got out and found the hay bales, so they were all up there munching on hay bales. They were easy enough to put back in, but it's just an extra trip that I hadn't planned on making.
They're spoiled rotten. They have hay.
I had to roll another bale in because they will not dig. I don't know how other people get their cows to dig through grass, but these cows will not dig through snow.
You've got lazy cows.
Spoiled cows. They think they got to have 10 inches of green grass every day.
On the bales.
Well, that's true. I have to just leave them in a spot. It's not going to waste. It's going to come back. They'll eat it later, but they aren't going to dig for it right now. That got sandwiched between two snowstorms. It was on top of the other snow, and then the new snow blew on top of it. So here we are. Anyway, I got stuff to do. You're starving. Well, I'll get to moving. I at least got to take care of that calf, the sick calf, and the pigs. Turkey back. You're bad news, girl. But anyway.
Glad you didn't fall in an alien.
I didn't fall in an alien hole. I didn't fall in a snowdrift, and the aliens didn't take me. Although if they'd have taken me, my hands might be a little warmer. I never been one for wearing gloves. Anyway, I don't appreciate you talking to me that way. I'm not gonna stand for that. Anyway, before she gets herself in trouble. Love y'all.